Voilà, histoire de train, de main, enfin bref.
Third witness on our day. What is the relation between what we've just heard and your action? And then, of course, we will also listen to some of the people who would like to contribute to this type of reflection. I'd like to make a few observations. Well, these are general observations or feelings, rather, things that I felt whilst listening to you. I had the impression that we were actually walking along an avenue under the trees and all thinking in the same way. So this day, according to me, was interesting. And this is a type of topic, of course, that we are very passionate about. All participants were very passionate on speaking about those topics, and I think that the rest of the population will actually be passionate as well, because trees are certainly important for everybody, and they sometimes even generate love from human beings. At the beginning of this day, so we saw some terrible pictures of those trees that were really destroyed by the First World War. There was, of course, a similarity with human beings, so those people who died. We spoke about those tortured trees, those trees that fell on their knees, that were really split into pieces and so on. And there was also the sentence, a desolate landscape cannot be consoled to any measure. So I think it's a mirroring effect with the human beings. So the people are really sad about those trees. And we said that those trees had been cut off simply, so without any other form of reflection. So we spoke about the symbols of trees, so memorial trees, trees that symbolize freedom, mystery, inspiration, and so on. So all those symbols that are transferred by trees, and very often the life expectancy of a tree is much higher, much longer than that of human beings. That's why we sometimes admire trees. I think of this cedar tree in Lebanon, so 3,000 years old. So we cannot even understand or apprehend this length, or this period of time. And I think this is part of the reasons why we really admire trees. Then we saw some proud trees. We saw this picture of a tree that was actually gaining some form of rebirth. So the representative of this arbres association or charity, which may be used as an example for young people, because those young people needed also to go on or to go through some form of rebirth. And I think the symbols are very interesting. So regarding the future, because this is the topic that I've been entrusted with, those memorial avenues need some classification. There's need for an inventory, and it could be interesting to identify them, to classify them, and then to preserve them, of course. If we look at the picture on the agenda of the meeting, by the way, so we can, well, I haven't got it, but well, I think it's a very nice picture. So you can see this curve going upwards, and you can find also the symbols of wars, but then we can also see a dove, a white dove, symbol of peace. And I think we have a message to give to future generations, so we can really see the place and the importance of trees. Trees have a social dimension, a cultural dimension. The tree creates or generates some social relation. You can find memories in trees. It has an affective role. It's full of feelings. It's well, we get acquainted with trees around our houses. There's also an issue or a link, actually, in relation with health. Well, it's said that people in hospitals who can look out of the window and see trees may heal more much faster than others. It's also a place where people can meet. Well, I was speaking actually with this person from Niger. Well, I was thinking of this tree where people can sit and take advantage of the shadow of the tree and discuss. So this is again a social dimension that should be stressed. The beauty, the majesty of trees in Europe as well as on other continents. Trees, symbol of dreams. We had this school of lime trees this morning, so it's very interesting for children, for instance. And trees also for children, because they can play around this tree, collect leaves and so on. And then, last but not least, I'll keep it short, but I think there's also the environmental function that cannot be overlooked. Trees are important in the fight against climate change. We had some issues with the heat wave this summer, and trees are important because they can cool down the atmosphere. They are important for biodiversity, for all species. That's also where birds may build their nests. Insects are also represented there. Many plants too that live in symbiosis with trees. Trees allow you to fight against some natural disasters, and natural disasters have an impact on trees, as was the case also with those storms in the 1990s, 1999 in France, for instance. So with strong winds, actually, that cut off trees, and floodings also that remove trees, erosion, drought, and so on. So we can see that trees are indispensable in the lives of people. And if you fell a tree, well, then there's an impact. And in Africa, trees allow you to fight against hunger. And the fact of planting trees allows you to restrict, in fact, the limitations or limits of deserts. So trees are friends of humans.